Today is January 11th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today at the Big Book, we are going to continue Bill's story by reading page 2. At the 12 and 12, we will wrap up step 1 by reading page 24. And of course, we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. Hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. Once again, we've been given a brand new set of 24 hours. Another opportunity to work the program and just to live a life of integrity. That's always exciting. And that's what gives me a smile on my face at about 3 in the morning. So let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, so out of the Big Book yesterday, we got to know a little bit more about Bill. And we see already on page 2, he's having some struggles with alcohol, but it gets a lot worse before it gets better. So we're going to read the bottom of page 2 and top of page 3. By the time I had completed the course, I knew law was not for me. The inviting maelstrom of Wall Street had me in its grip. Business and financial leaders were my heroes. Out of this alloy of drink and speculation, I commenced to forge the weapon that one day would turn in its flight like a boomerang and all but cut me to ribbons. Living modestly, my wife and I saved $1,000. It went into certain securities, then cheap and rather unpopular. I rightly imagined that they would someday have a great rise. I failed to persuade my broker friends to send me out looking over factories and managements, but my wife and I decided to go anyway. I developed a theory that most people lost money in stocks through ignorance of markets. I discovered many more reasons later on. We gave up our positions and off we roared on a motorcycle. The sidecar stuffed with a tent, blankets, change of clothes, and 3 huge volumes of a financial reference service. Our friends thought a lunacy commission should be appointed. Perhaps they were right. I had had some successes at speculation, so we had a little money. But we once worked on a farm for a month to avoid drawing on our small capital. That was the last honest manual labor on my part for many a day. We covered the whole eastern United States in a year. At the end of it, my reports to Wall Street procured me a position there and the use of a large expense account. The exercise of an option brought in more money, leaving us with a profit of several $1,000s for that year. At the 12 and 12 run, step 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Page 24. Why all this insistence that every AA must hit bottom first? The answer is that few people will sincerely try to practice the AA program unless they have hit bottom. For practicing AA's remaining 11 steps means the adoption of attitudes and actions that almost no alcoholic who's still drinking can dream of taking. Who wishes to be rigorously honest and tolerant? Who wants to confess his faults to another and make restitution for harm done? Who cares anything about a higher power, let alone meditation and prayer? Who wants to sacrifice time and energy in carrying AA's message to the next sufferer? No. The average alcoholic, self-centered in the extreme, doesn't care for this prospect, unless he has to do these things in order to stay alive himself. Under the lash of alcoholism, we are driven to AA. And there, we discover the fatal nature of our situation. Then and only then, do we become as open-minded to conviction and as willing to listen as the dying man can be. We stand ready to do anything which will lift the merciless obsession from us. "24 hours a day, January 11th. AA thought for the day. When we were drinking, most of us never thought of helping others. We liked to buy drinks for people because that made us feel like big shots. But we only used others for our own pleasure. To really go out and try to help somebody who needed help never occurred to us. To us, helping others looked like a sucker's game. But when we came into AA, we began to try to help others. And we found out that helping others made us happy and also helped us stay sober. Have I learned that there is happiness in helping others? Meditation for the day. I will pray only for strength and that God's will be done. I will use God's unlimited store of strength for my needs. I will seek God's will for me. I will strive for consciousness of God's presence, for He is the light of the world. I've become a pilgrim who needs only marching orders and strength and guidance for this day. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may seek God's guidance day by day. I pray that I may strive to abide in God's presence. Daily Reflection, January 11th. The 100% Step. Only step 1, where we have made the 100% admission that we were powerless over alcohol, can be practiced with absolute perfection. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 68. Long before I was able to obtain sobriety in AA, I knew without a doubt that alcohol was killing me. Yet even with this knowledge, I was unable to stop drinking. So, when faced with step 1, I found it easy to admit that I lacked the power to not drink. But was my life unmanageable? Never. 5 months after coming into AA, I was drinking again and wondered why. Later on, back in AA, and smarting from my wounds, I learned that step 1 is the only step that can be taken 100%. And that the only way to take it 100% is to take 100% of the step. That was many 24 hours ago, and I haven't had to take step 1 again. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. It's some beautiful stuff. My goodness. Really enjoyed the 24 hours a day today. But real quick about the daily reflection and the 12 and 12, talking about step 1. It is so true. At least it's been true for my life. If I looked just at my circumstances, I didn't lose the house. I didn't lose the wife and kids, although I came very close. I didn't lose a lot of things. But let me tell you something. I knew my alcoholism was so bad that I was going to. I was about to. And if I kept on drinking, I would. And if I go back out there drinking, I probably will. I had tried to quit so many different times and I could not. So I knew I needed help. And that's when the loving arm of a fellowship reached out and helped me. And honestly, God, through this program, has restored me. But, honestly, it took realizing I can't do this. Finally saying, I can't do this. I tried. I can't do this. I need help. I am powerless over this. But I'm so grateful for my higher power, working through the program and through others. And that kind of leads me to the 24 hours a day. Walking in the light. Right here, I will strive for consciousness of God's presence, for He is the light of the world. I have become a pilgrim who needs only marching orders and strength and guidance, and I love this part here, for this day. I don't know about you all, but the idea of quitting drinking for the rest of my life was extremely scary. I was like, there's no way I can do that. But what about this day? So as I'm recording this, it's about 3:30 in the morning. So I've got 21 and a half more hours left. I just need to worry about not drinking this set of 24 hours. And honestly, if I go to sleep around 8 or 9, maybe I've only got 18 hours left, or who I don't know. I'm not a math guy, but you know what I mean. Surely I can just focus on, these 18 hours. And I love what it says here. I just need marching orders and strength and guidance for these 18 hours or so. I pray that I may seek God's guidance day by day. And I pray that I may strive to abide in God's presence. It reminds me of the end of the 12 and 12 where it says, is all this work, and it talks about all the steps that are coming up, is it all worth it? Who surely wants to do all these things? Well, at first, obviously, I knew I had to. It was absolutely necessary for my survival and sobriety to do these things. But the beautiful thing along the way is now I want to. And now I have a stronger relationship with my higher power than I ever thought possible. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. It just means that my higher power is with me. And I have some spiritual tools, when I screw up, which will happen. It's not an if, it's a when. To deal with these things. And again, walk humbly with my higher power. Walking in the light. Trying to make my private life harmonious with my public life, I always heard the line, you're as sick as your secrets. But I've realized that my higher power loves me, and he wants to restore me. And he wants me to live a life without fear. I lived in so much fear when I was drinking. And he offers healing by exposing these false narratives, false evidence appearing real. I don't have to live in fear anymore. These are all things that I just thought sobriety was just not drinking. Anyway, life is so good, and I'm so grateful to be here today. And if you are sober, my friend, you're a miracle, and I hope you know that. And if you're not sober today, I hope you know that you're a miracle too. You are loved, and you're worthy of recovery. I hope you hear that. And I hope that you make the first step toward change today. What a beautiful opportunity we have. As always, guys, I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, any other sect or denomination. I am just a friend in this lifeboat recovery. Just thrilled to be here today. And if we are given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here